The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town where the grickle-grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. You silly girl. And deep in the grickle-grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see, today, where the Lorax once stood just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the grickle-grass grows, the old Onceler still lives here. Ask him. He knows.
Well, he was the one that lifted it.
You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffled roof.
Oh, Daddy, remember?
Shh! And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. What?
Remember in the movie when he knocks on the door and he gets, oh shoot, it's in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
funny.
Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you've paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his grubbulous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper my phone, for the secrets I tell are for your ears alone. Slump. Down slips the whisper muffled to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says with his teeth sounding grave, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swans rang out in space. One morning, I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the rippulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I had loaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop, and with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft, and I knitted a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Sorry, I didn't need to listen. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I'm the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. Yeah.
In this, you never see his face.
The Onceler, yeah.
Yeah. In the movie,
You see his
his
face.
face like 24/7.
Alright, can we read this book? Okay, thank you. And I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's that thing you made out of my truffula tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed is to find something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that.
It definitely could be a good because that part.
Okay. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There was no one on earth who would buy that fool Sneed. But the very next minute I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute a chap came along, and he thought that the Sneed I admitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please.
Oh. You just got burned.
Burn. Zinger. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts and I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Once-Little family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast, take the road to North Nitch, turn left at Weehawken and sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Once-Little family was working full tilt. We were all knitting Sneeds just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffle trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffle trees in one smacker. We were making Sneeds 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week, he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax that speaks for the trees. Would you seem to be chopping as fast as you please?
Ooh, Daddy.
Shh.
You hear that door right there? That's the Once-Little door. That's his office.
Yeah, thanks.
I don't know.
He snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown Babaloots, who played in the shade in their Babaloot suits, and happily lived eating truffle fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffle fruit to go round, and my poor Babaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Once-Little, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know.
No.
That's what he says. I meant no harm. I most truly did not. But I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory. Shh! I biggered my roads. I biggered my wagons. I biggered the loads of the Sneeds I'd shipped out. I was shipping them forth, to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more Sneeds, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I'm the Lorax. He coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffled. He snargled. He sniffed. Once-Little, he cried with a crupulous croak. Once-Little, you're making such smugulous smoke. My poor swami swans. Why, they can't sing a note. No one can sing with smog in his throat.
What's smog?
What is smog?
Fog?
Fog with what in it?
I forgot. Pollution.
Pollution, dirt,
Dirty stuff.
dirty stuff. Smog is real. And so, said the Lorax, please
It's
pardon my
smog
cough.
bad for-
They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. What's more, snapped the Lorax, his dander was up. Let me say a few words about Glubbity-Glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making Glubbity-Glup, also Schloppity-Schlop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Once-Little man, you. You're glumping the pond with a humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary.
What does smear?
Like greasy and dirty and muddy and yucky. It used to be
What
nice,
the-
clear, and clean water.
Wait, can you read that page again?
Okay. The whole thing?
Oh.
You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in
Okay.
search of some water that isn't so smeary.
What does weary mean?
The weary means tired.
Does it say awfully?
Awfully, yeah.
Okay. I also think it sounded like wolfully.
They get woefully weary is what it says.
Woefully?
Yeah, they'll get
Does that
tired, like
woefully?
woe
Does
is
that mean
like
the same?
woe is me, like dramatic, like ooh, I'm sad, woe is me, woe. So they get woefully weary, sadly weary, sadly tired.
Is it kind of like awful?
Dramatic. Yeah, it's kind of like awful.
Yeah, they kind of
All right, let's finish this book because it's getting late.
mean the same thing.
Kinda. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering. Turning more truffula trees into thneeds, which everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the field came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall. The very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more seeds, no more work to be done. So in no time my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smothered stars. Now all that was left beneath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad, backward glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the small without leaving a trace.
Was he telling a story?
The once was telling the story, yeah. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better.
Wait,
It's not.
Wait.
What?
Where's this whispering of them?
That was in the beginning. So,
No, but the whispering
catch.
came from.
So catch, calls the Onceler. He let something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds and truffula trees or what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack, then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back.
Can I read that?
The end.
Can I read that?
The last page? Sure.
Yeah. You're in charge of the last truffula seeds and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula tree with care. Give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow forests, protect it from axes that hack, then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to be better.